Hello, it's so good to see you. I'm glad to be here with you in the Imperial City. By the way, isn't the Imperial City just a beautiful city? I mean, it really is one of the most beautiful cities you will ever visit. I mean, look at the green grass, the beautiful buildings. You know, you may or may not know this, but Washington, D.C. is, in fact, the richest region in America. The richest region in America, in the richest country to ever exist on the face of planet Earth. And it makes you start to wonder and ask a question, how did that happen? What do they make in Washington, D.C.? They aren't really known for manufacturing or agriculture or finance or technology. That's not what they make in Washington, D.C. What they make is war and propaganda and inflation. And apparently those are very good businesses to be in because it's made them the richest region in America with the 5 richest counties in America, suburbs of this beautiful city founded on plunder and lies. So we're here in the Imperial City to rage against the war machine, to rage against the injustice, the death of the innocents. But the sad truth is, in this Imperial City, that's all we can do, is we can rage against the war machine. We can stand up, we can speak out, we can make our voices heard. They haven't totally destroyed the First Amendment freedom of speech just yet, despite their best efforts. We can come up and we can rage. But if we want to defeat the war machine, the sad truth is, that's not going to happen in Washington, D.C. This is not the place to defeat the war machine. And I'll tell you, I serve in 3 terms in the Maine State Senate. I've run for federal office twice. I applied 2 times for a job in this Imperial City. The first time I ran for the United States Senate in 2018 against the fake independent warmonger U.S. Senator from Maine, Angus King. And that's how I ended up named in the Twitter files. Because when he stood in my home city of Auburn, Maine, on the anniversary of the 9/11 Twin Tower attacks, he got up in front of everyone and said, you know, this Russian cyber hacking election meddling is the same kind of attack on America as when they flew planes into towers. My jaw dropped a little bit when I heard that. I thought, is this really the comparison that we're making? Have we become so deranged in this hyperbolic saber-rattling for war with Russia that these conspiracy theories about the 2016 election are now being compared by U.S. senators who sit on the U.S. Intelligence Committee in the Senate to the 9/11 Twin Tower attacks? I thought that was crazy, so I thought, all right, maybe everyone should know he's making these comparisons, so we released the video. He didn't like that very much when it was picked up by Tucker Carlson and Breitbart News, and that's why this U.S. senator on the U.S. Intelligence Committee went to the Twitter executives and said, you've got to censor this guy and all his supporters. He is challenging the war propaganda, and that is not allowed. So I made a second attempt to run and try to change the Imperial City from the inside. I ran for Congress, and this time it was the neoconservatives and Kevin McCarthy who came out and spent millions against me to stop me from getting here. And you know what? The thing I've learned over the years, over these runs for federal office is we're not going to change it from the inside. This is a fortified citadel of corruption. And our adversaries in the military-industrial complex who are pushing these war plans literally have access to a money-printing machine. In these races that cost millions of dollars where money really counts, it's nothing for them to print money out of thin air, pass it around to all their special interest friends, and have it flood back into their campaigns and PACs and all of that. And we, those of us who love peace, those of us who love liberty, are at a severe disadvantage. But that's only for the federal races. Because what I have learned is that if we are going to defeat the war machine and not just stand here in the imperial city and rage against it, it's not going to happen in the national capital. It's going to happen in the state capitals around this country. And there is a particular piece of legislation working its way through the state capitals that the war machine is afraid of. You've heard about it a few times here today. It is called Defend the Guard. Defend the Guard. It is making its way through the state capitals. Now, as someone who has run for federal office and tried to go and fight the imperialists, the politicians from inside this capital, I guess the message I have for them today is, you all can go to hell and I shall go to New Hampshire. Because I'm heading to New Hampshire to lead what's called the Free State Project, a mass migration of libertarians to the live free or die state to concentrate, to build a free society, and to challenge the empire from the local level. And New Hampshire just became the first state to pass Defend the Guard in the lower chamber, telling Congress, you better do your jobs and vote on these wars, or we are going to withdraw our consent for you to take our National Guardsmen and send them off to fight in these forever wars. And they're getting afraid of that. Every time Defend the Guard comes up in a state capital, they mobilize some 4-star general to come and testify and say, you can't do that. Well, actually, the Constitution says that we can. And in these local races, shoe leather counts more than the millions of dollars they can churn out from the Federal Reserve inflation machine. Shoe leather counts more. We can get out, we can knock doors, we can get libertarians elected, just as we have in New Hampshire, where 1/4 of the New Hampshire House are now libertarians fighting for Defend the Guard and for our freedoms on so many fronts. So, to wrap up my message for you all today is that if you want to not just rage against the war machine, if you want to defeat the war machine, then you need to focus on your state capital. And if your state capital is not a fertile ground for freedom and liberty, then you need to move to New Hampshire and join us in the Live Free or Die state, where we are building a liberty homeland for everyone who yearns to breathe free. So come and join us for the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Come and join us for the New Hampshire Liberty Forum. Come and visit for a little while, and maybe you just might love it so much you decide to stay for a lifetime, plant your flag there, and help us fight the imperial war machine from the bottom up. All right, thank you. I think I'm over on time. It's good to see you all. Let's defeat the empire.